I received an emergency alert about a chemical spill in my neighborhood. When I looked outside, all my neighbors were dead in their yard. The alert came through at 7:42 a.m. while I was drinking my morning coffee. Immediate evacuation required. Toxic chemical release in Sector 7. Shelter in place until further notice. I lived in Sector 7, but there were no chemical plants anywhere near our quiet suburban neighborhood. I looked out my kitchen window and felt my blood turn to ice. Mrs. Patterson was lying face down in her garden, her body twisted in an unnatural position. The Hendricks family was sprawled across their front lawn like they'd been running toward their car when they collapsed. Little Emma from next door was sitting motionless on her swing set, her head tilted back at an impossible angle. I called 911 immediately. There's been some kind of chemical accident, I told the operator. Everyone on Maple Street is dead. Sir, we have no reports of any chemical incidents in your area. Are you sure these people aren't just sleeping or injured? I ran outside to check on Mrs. Patterson, but the moment I stepped onto my porch, the world went black. I woke up in my bed at 6:30 a.m. My alarm was going off like it did every morning. Everything was normal. Mrs. Patterson was alive, watering her garden. The Hendricks were loading their kids into the minivan for school. Emma was playing hopscotch on her driveway. At exactly 7:42 a.m., my phone buzzed with the same emergency alert. I watched through my window as every single neighbor collapsed in the exact same positions as before. This time, I didn't go outside. I called my wife Monica at work instead. Honey, there's something wrong in our neighborhood. Everyone's dead from some kind of chemical spill. What are you talking about, Richard? I just drove through there 20 minutes ago. Everyone was fine. I looked outside again. Mrs. Patterson was watering her garden like nothing had happened. The loop reset itself every day at 6:30 a.m. For the next week, I tried everything. I called the police before the alert came through. They told me I was delusional. I tried to warn my neighbors. They looked at me like I was insane. I even tried to leave the neighborhood entirely, but my car would break down exactly 3 blocks away, and I'd wake up back in my bed. On day 8, I noticed something different about the emergency alert. Instead of coming from the official emergency system, the sender was listed as rwalker.2037, my own initials with a date 14 years in the future. I started paying closer attention to the details each loop. The chemical spill wasn't random. It was coming from a truck that crashed exactly at 7:41 a.m. at the intersection of Maple and Oak. The driver was always the same person, my neighbor Dave Reeves from 3 houses down. But Dave wasn't supposed to be driving a chemical truck. He worked at the bank. On day 12, I followed Dave when he left for work at 6:45 a.m. Instead of going to the bank, he drove to Henderson Chemical Plant 15 miles away. I watched him steal a truck full of industrial solvent and drive it back toward our neighborhood. When I confronted him, Dave's eyes were completely blank. I have to deliver the chemicals, he said in a monotone voice. The delivery must be completed by 7:42 a.m. Dave, you're going to kill everyone. Why are you doing this? Because Richard Walker told me to. He said if I don't make the delivery, my family dies. I felt sick. When did Richard Walker tell you this? Yesterday. He showed me pictures of my wife and kids tied up in a basement. He said the only way to save them is to crash the truck at Maple and Oak at exactly 7:41 a.m. I was threatening my neighbor to cause the chemical spill that would kill everyone, including his own family, but I'd never spoken to Dave about any of this. That night, I received a phone call from my own number. When I answered, I heard my own voice, but older, more desperate. Richard, this is you calling from 2037. You have to make Dave crash that truck tomorrow, or something much worse happen. What could be worse than killing our entire neighborhood? Monica dies, Richard. In the original timeline, there's no chemical spill. Everyone lives except Monica. She gets hit by a drunk driver at 7:43 a.m. while jogging. I've been trying to prevent her death for 14 years by creating the chemical spill that keeps her inside. I looked outside. Monica was putting on her running shoes, getting ready for her morning jog like she did every day at 7:40 a.m. But Richard, I've been in this loop so long that I'm losing my mind. I need you to take over. Tomorrow, you have to call Dave and threaten his family. Make him crash the truck. Keep Monica alive. There has to be another way. I've tried everything for 5,110 loops. This is the only way she survives. The line went dead. At 6:30 a.m., I woke up to my alarm. Monica was getting dressed for work, humming happily. At 7:35 a.m., she kissed me goodbye and said she was going for a quick jog before work. My phone showed Dave's number in my contacts. All I had to do was call him and threaten his family to save my wife. At 7:40 a.m., I watched Monica leave the house for her jog. Dave was loading his kids into his car to drive them to school. Mrs. Patterson was watering her garden. At 7:41 a.m., I called Dave's number.